A warm welcome to you all to the first edition of the GC Foster Brave Debater Competition 2022. Before we begin this evening's proceedings, a word of prayer and welcome by our academic of administration, Mr. Paul Bedford, who then will be followed by our principal, who will give an opening remark, followed by Mr. James Williams, our vice principal of academics. Bedford.
Extend our appreciation to Mr. team for his great when I for the development. I put high school, after high school, and he was up in 2007 overseas. That is something I want some people to say, yes, it's not, if not, I like women. Every day I would be, and I want to use something to welcome all of you, and especially families that you know. Obviously, understand. So welcome, sir, and the license from Mrs. Russell, Mrs. Douglas, and the man gave us well, and I just want to say that the initiative and you are the right place and the right time. I'm going to invite you to the board actually go to work. I'm wondering that we will anticipate because of where you are going. We thank you for the love that you have extended to us all. We thank you for your inspiration and for the ones who have come up with this initiative. May you divine the way that we've done. I mean, for the students in this initiative, I pray God that they will continue to give them the words. The initiative, whatever they need, themselves at this time. Be with them, we pray. And we thank you for bringing us. In Jesus' name, amen.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm a scientist, I'm not a debater. But it would be remiss of to acknowledge what is happening here today. Prevention has been added to the extracurricular arm of the institution. And with this in mind, I want to thank the Education Department headed by Mrs. Sylvia Douglas. And if I should say the inventors of the program, Mrs. Jackson and Mrs. Donald, I want to thank you on behalf of the entire GC Foster College community. I want to thank Lecturer Russell for coming out. Thank you, Mr. Brown, VP. Thank you very much, sir, for taking the time to be here. Let me just say, students, that our Prime Minister, Mr. Andrew Williams, was a debater at St. Catherine High School and the University of the West Indies. I am not sure that at that time he knew that he was going to. And I'm saying this on the basis of a lot of times we get opportunities A lot of times, we get the base on which we can exploit our talents. This is one opportunity. We never know what tomorrow may bring. It is looked on as leaders in sports, leaders in the teaching fraternity of physical education. There are other dimensions to our person. There are other dimensions to what we do. So think about it. I'm going to walk off the stage in 1.5 minutes. Think about who being the best institution in the West Indies and in South America when it comes to sports and teacher training in sports, coupled with the ability to be extremely articulate, whether it be in Spanish or in English. But not only that, be multifaceted, having many dimensions to your personality. And so when you walk on a stage, when you go into congregation, persons are surprised because of how articulate you are, and that practice would have come from the noble institution of GC Foster College. I want to thank you again, colleagues, for putting on this very worthwhile venture. I am sure that there are others who benefit and exploit the resources that are here. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm not as tall as Mr. Bedford, hence, I have to put my mic much lower. I need to say this, that as Vice Principal Academic Affairs, I am very, very happy for this moment. This is a moment that, as an institution, we have waited for. And as such, Mrs. Douglas, Head of Language and General, and the team, I must say congratulations. I need to say to the students, this is, as Principal said, and Mr. a tremendous opportunity for you to grow. Ladies and gentlemen, in 1983, I would have done my first and only degree at Erina in high school. We lost that match. We lost the Glenmore High School. It was an opportunity that I took seriously. And I want all students to embrace this. This is going to make some progress. It is going to create an opportunity for us to build capacity. I think it says the series of great debates. And as such, because it's a series, we take it, Mrs. Douglas, we take it, Mr. Principal. The next week, I want to see this legislature full. To sign it. Because Madam Dean, Mr. Wilson will tell me that at Madam Dean, and this is called Einstein. And I am, you're really excited. In the language department, I attended that university. They got me so excited. But now, you so excited that this is the father arm of GC Foster that I love to embrace and for you, the students, to I want to thank the entire team that is putting this together, and students, do me one favor. When you are coming, pull before your colleagues. Mr. Gay, I want to see the faculty members supporting my students at their debates. It's a family affair. Together, we will all grow. Thank you very much. And have fun.
All right, so before we begin, I will introduce the participants for this afternoon's debate. Now, when I call your name, I'm just going to ask for you to line up in front of the podium so that the audience can see who you are. Face off one will have Zane Watson of 1A Yale in the affirmative versus Adrian Knight of 3A Yale the opposition. Face off two will have Whitney Graham of coaching 1B affirmative versus Isafari Thompson of 1A opposition. Face off three, you have Sharian Stewart of 1B coaching in the affirmative versus Royale Gordon of 4B in Face off four, you have Colleen Young of 2A Sports Massage, Alexis Smith of 3C in the opposition. Face of five, we have Danica Roberts of 4D versus of 1B In face of six, we have Karen Salmon of 3B in the affirmative versus Janai. Now, in face of seven, we just had a new participant added because one of the competitors or participants had fallen out. So please welcome Mr. Christopher Gibbon, Mr. Christopher Gibbon of 4C there in the affirmative versus Giovanni Patrick of 3C there. Alright, so now that we have seen our participants, we will begin shortly. Give the participants a round of applause for me, please. After that, you remain quiet and undisruptive while the debate is in session, and that you save all applause until after each presentation. For the participants, hello, are you ready, sir? For the participants, you will be allowed 4 minutes each for which to state your positions, after which you will be given 1 minute to prepare your rebuttal. At 1 minute period, you can request your nugget if you so desire. Indication of same must be done. You will then only have 2 minutes to make your rebuttal. So now we will begin with phase of one. So we invite now Zane Watson of 1A in the affirmative, Adrian Knight of 3A in the opposition. The move this afternoon is all public sector workers should be contracted.
Judges, verdict. What we discussed today is whether contractor or not. My proposition is that in total agreement with this law that most public sector employees should be contracted. But I would like to understand in terms of public sector workers and contractor workers. Sector workers are employed in government ministry, departments, agencies, statutory bodies, government-owned companies, government schools, whereas contract employees and contract workers are labor of a business or a company. Time or short-term basis, generally to complete a work, generally to complete a specific task or job. So in layman terms, we can say government workers are contracted workers are who are employed under a private entity. That should be exempted from this are those that serve in essential skills, talents, and services are continuous doctors and nurses. Of the employees, I think that they should be contracted. The form of contract will be determined by the project they are on and the essentiality of the job. My supporting argument for proposition is that the government spends a huge part of its budget. On expenses incurred by the public sector, funds that could be redeployed to help in other areas of the country. This would undoubtedly ease some of the constrictions on the government's budget and we might just see significant changes in certain sectors, of course, depending on how honest the government decides to be with these funds. A second argument for why public sector workers should be contracted is the lack of innovation. I think we can all agree that innovation is essential for economic development and public enterprises tend to lack innovation due to a monopoly or lack of competition. Methods and marketing strategies. The purpose of cost reduction and profit maximization. Whereas public sector employees, jobs tend to be more secure, so naturally they will focus less on having that cutting edge due to the sense of security they have in employment. Contracting some of these public sector workers will lead to massive development in many areas of this sector,
Along with the newfound financial freedom in the budget, we may also see a rapid increase of creativity and overall quality of work from the public sector. Now, I am not implying that the quality of work, that quality work does not come from the public sector. But all I'm saying is, a sudden increase in the likelihood of being fired would be enough to motivate members of the public sector to step it up a notch. My third argument is that the lack of efficiency in management is an issue in the public sector, due to many management roles being filled by public servants. To uneducated mind, this may not seem like a big deal, but when you compare the quality of management in the private sector to that of the public sector, the competition in the private sector management will naturally be more heated, since everybody is trying to make themselves more appealing for appointments in a managerial position. It's not quite the same in public sector companies, seeing as managers or supervisors can be hired based on respect or longevity. In a lot of cases, these managers are also not professionally qualified or experts in the field. And with that, I conclude my opening statement.
Good afternoon. Competitor judges, faculty staffs, and our students and students across the world. Good afternoon. Now, we have thanked the Most High God for this opportunity for me to be in a debate. Now, as you all know, I'm against the topic that all public sector workers should be contracted. Now, my opponent has phenomenally defined majority of the topics, and I come in for it. The reason why I am against this is because most public sector workers are normally teachers, doctors, lawyers, medical field employees, and local government. I ask, what is a contract? A contract is an individual or entity that enters into agreement with the signing of a contract or agreement for doing service. Public service workers contract to do private. So another thing why we should not private sector companies has also been phenomenal in the economic of Jamaica and worldwide. As we all see that teachers from even this institution are leaving, but not going to a public institution, but private schools and companies. Another famous thing is known for the public sector users is that the law enforcement, military, and healthcare. Now, my question is, can these employees work independently out of a contract? And the answer is yes. Reason being, you might say the government is the normal contract, normal leader of the country, the regular JLP and PMP. But what if I tell you that ULC, the Independent Congregation of Jamaica, is also independently wise? No. Even though they have never won significant many seats in the parliament, they have played an important role in the country. We have also international wise, we have seen Republican Democrats being having third and fourth parties in the regions of the USA, British, and Ukraine. Now, not being employed can be private investigation, private company is that larger pay, more opportunities for adventures and ensuring vacation and annual bonuses. Now, these are factors why we should consider while going further in this debate. I thank you all for the time that you have listened.
All right, give the participants a round of applause again. Now, just a reminder, after each presentation, each participant will have 1 minute to do or to prepare their rebuttal, for which they can use their nuggets to invite members of the audience to assist in preparing. After which they will have 2 minutes to make their arguments in the rebuttal. Alright? So we'll now invite Zane Watson with his rebuttal.
Students and lecturers, I'm not going. So my opponent made an interesting point just now. One that I would like to refute. He's saying that we should maybe consider not contracting members of the public sector simply because a lot of them are teachers. Being a teacher does not necessarily mean you produce quality work. There are a lot of teachers who I think should be contracted, and maybe then they would help to develop the mind of the younger generation. I've seen a lot of cases where I can tell that it's because of this sense of security that a lot of teachers have with their jobs. They tend to actively try to execute their job in the best way possible. I've seen many examples of this. The second point that my opponent made is police force. And I consider for contracting. As we all know, this is no news to any of us. The police force is corrupt. And that contracting some of these police officers will lead them to maybe taking their job a bit more seriously. And maybe we may see a significant reduction in corruption in the country. And that concludes my rebuttal.
Good afternoon again. Thank you. Alright, so for the rebuttal, now for the set point of being a teacher should be all be contracted. She has also made a very important point, which I do not disagree completely. But the main point is that if for a master's teach, for a teacher that has gotten a degree and gotten his master's, should he go under the restriction of a contract? What is the outcome? We are considering the personal effects that may happen to this individual. Should this teacher feel ill, family member have passed, or any other personal injuries or medical or financial difficulties, is their job secure? The answer is no. We have all seen in this kind of pandemic that they have been limited amount of job. So not all the public sector employees should be contracted. Tankwell is a major, Tankwell and Paul Albert is a major contracted company that has developed and did many construction projects of schemes and hotels. All of these are who employ individuals in the community to uplift themselves. These are the points I'm trying to make. It's not everyone needs a contract to be employed. He has also said in the finishing of the state that most are not professionals, which is also true, but a private company most likely have 90% of them are professionals, which the remaining 10% are rookies or in other terms, apprentices that are becoming professionals. So we can all see that this is an encouragement to develop and uplift the community, the youths and the people of our nations and the Caribbean states. Now, we thank you all for listening to me, but he also said some doctors and officers should take their job more seriously. Imagine a doctor serving 35 years as a surgeon, but finally has a kidney problem, but cannot continue as a sergeant. I want you to consider all of these things, or why the contract is a disadvantage, but while the agreement is free, it is of a great opportunity for better pay and to move forward. I thank you.
Want to thank Zane and Adrian for their presentation. Now, just some information, we will be foregoing two of the face-off mentioned earlier because some of the participants are not here. So face-off 4 will now become face-off 2, face-off 5, face-off 3 until we get to the end. So we'll now invite Colleen Young of 2A, Sports Massage and Fitness in the affirmative, versus Alexis Smith of 3C, BS in opposition. The mood is there should block access to social media sites. And Colleen. Also a point of information for all the participants who are coming to the podium, please ensure that your phones are on silent.
Good afternoon, my fellow custodians. I would first say employers should block access to social media sites. Why would block access to social media sites? Don't you think employees need to keep up to date through the day? Yes, and that's a privilege is being abused, and this is the main reason why employers block social media sites. An employer of Kingston Bookshop told me they block sites because some staff members are being shopping online, some are using it to go on for a site and they are not completing their tasks. I completely agree with her reason for blocking the site. The employees' actions were making the work productivity low, and this was affecting the company. These were three main reasons why the sites are online shopping. I think it's best to do this at home in your own time and not in your work time. You are not getting paid to shop online, but you are getting paid to work. Less productivity equals less money, so blocking the site may be in employees' best interest, although they may not know it. Watching for. Why would you be watching private? Co-workers can just pass by into your computer and be disturbed for the entire day. I shouldn't have to give reasons for this inappropriate action because it's scored. In earlier, the employees are not finishing their tasks. You can easily get caught up by going to your homepage, reading stuff, and losing track of time. Keep in mind, if the productivity level is low, the business can fail, so you might get less pay, and if the business shut down, you will be out of a job. Therefore, it's in the employee's best interest. When doing my research, HR Daily Advisor stated a few good reasons. Media is yet another potential place for confidential information to be used. You just need to touch the wrong link for hackers to fish for information, and the company's personal information is leaked. So blocking the social media sites reduces the risk of this happening. If you look at these points from my perspective, employers are not looking for themselves, but they are also looking out for their employees. Employees are saying, this is not fair, for me going to know what's going on. Simple. Anything that is a need to know, they will know. Trust me. In some high schools, they know the government radios are on based on my past observations, and the news would be at different times to it. So any emergency, they would need to know. They would know via the radio or an employer. With all these being said, employers should block access to social media sites. So good afternoon, everyone. A very cheerful good afternoon to all, honorable judges, respected lecturers, and my fellow competitors. Today I would like to enlighten my views against the motion, which is employers should block access to social media. But before I expound on my argument, I would like to define social media. Social media are information-based tools and technologies used to share information, facilitate communications with internal and external audiences. Well-known examples of social media platforms are Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, among others. If you're looking to slay the working world barrier, you're going to need social media as one of your weapons. Social media has been a rising player in the for so long now that many are wondering when it's going to start losing steam. The answer to this question is not anytime soon. People are in love with social media platforms, not a crush or infatuation, but the type of love that keeps them up at night, interferes when they are trying to concentrate, literally. The explosion of social media not only has social media transformed the way people communicate, but it also offers employee engagement, encourages professional development, and fosters creativity. My first point is employment engagement. Engage in the workplace if they feel informed and if they believe that their opinions are heard. Social media gives employers a way to spread the word as well as to channel employee comments. Some organizations use social media to communicate new programs or policies to their employees. A key benefit is that employees can react to announcements in comments or questions. Other employers are video sharing to keep employees around the world engaged in regular meetings. An excellent tool for quickly disseminating information on the state of organization and have all employees involved, making them feel connected and more a part of the organization and its mission. My second pointer, encourages professional development. Allowing the use of social media gives your employees a chance to develop a professional community. LinkedIn, for example, offers people from all over the world a chance to network, engage, develop their careers. Users can now connect with and receive endorsement for certain skills from colleagues, past employers. They can message colleagues directly through the website, browse job listing, and develop an online resume. All these things are crucial for an employee who is invested in advancing their career. As a company, it is very important professional development. My last pointer, which is fosters creativity. Encouraging social media in the workplace means providing the flow of creative juices in every department. Creativity and innovation are essential components of expanding your business and seeking out new opportunities for growth.
Right, so social media presents an incredible resource to the working force, especially if it's used in the right way. It is important to recognize the importance of social media as in all aspects of our lives, especially what it can do for the working force. I thank you, and this is my The competitors will now use 1 minute to prepare their remote. Alright, so Colleen has decided to use one of her nuggets, and she is requesting Yesenia Dennis to assist her in preparing her rebuttal. We will now invite to come and prepare her rebuttal, to share her rebuttal, sorry.
How many times does people use social media in the workplace for good than bad? In her day, she stated that people need to communicate all over the world. Yes, when you're working, if you're going to keep a meeting, they have Zoom. What more does Zoom need people when keeping a meeting? They don't need Instagram, they don't need Facebook, they don't need all of the stuff. To spread information. If the information needs to be sent, yes, they can emails. They're not blocking emails, so they can send emails to the employees. So they can send emails to the employees so they can get their information and know what. So if they have a problem, they can simply email or go to their employer and talk about it. They don't need to post about it and know. People don't need to know what is going on in a private business. If a business overall, the workplace, people outside doesn't need to know. So they can say, yes, go on social media to do this. A message coming from Instagram, they click on it. What happens after? They forget what to do, they don't complete their task and what they're supposed to do. So, block the web, block the social media site. Zoom is necessary when you're keeping your meeting, Zoom, any other video call, platform that you guys do. It's that simple, and that is my rebuttal.
So, as my fellow opponent has said before, she admitted that social media usage increases the time for procrastination. In fact, I agree. But in which I agree that social media provides an gateway for productivity among employees in the work, is that they can interact positively so that the structure of the organization can benefit from the usage of social media platforms such as build advertisement for the company so that other businesses can interact and promote the business effectively. So that's my stance, and that's it. That was overall applause. Abortion should be legalized in Jamaica. We will now invite DBS in the affirmative versus Tamara Lamont at 1 p.m. A woman's reproductive choice is none of your business. Honorable judges, my opponents, fellow colleagues, and distinguished guests, a pleasant afternoon to you all. Be it resolved, abortion should be legalized in Jamaica. Women have long been protected in every aspect of their lives. They have little to know about how to live their own lives. Much like abortion, which is the termination of a pregnancy after accomplished by resulting in or closely followed by death of an embryo or fetus. Yes, society sees it as a murderous act, but actually, women should be able to choose whether or not she wants to keep her pregnancy. A woman shouldn't be forced into motherhood. Several circumstances make a woman choose abortion: rape, abuse, pregnancy by trickery, and medical conditions. I stand firmly against abortion in Jamaica. And my opponents, if you ask me why, the impact of high birth rate among lower class citizens is ridiculously high. What's the point of bringing a child into this world and not being able to afford it? Vision 2030 Jamaica that covers a 21-year-old embodies a realization of a collective vision encapsulated in the statement, Jamaica, the place for raise families and to do a business since 2009. But is that so? According to Dr. Nigel Clark, Minister of Finance, brought an 11% decline since 2009, accounting for 2,982,772 Jamaicans still living below minimum, being able to afford basic needs, food, and shelter. With the rise of pregnancy, especially with teenagers that fall within the status quo of poverty-stricken, the poor will only get poorer and cause strain to the already depressing and declining financial scaffold to this country. 8,105 persons are already doing little or nothing to contribute to this country's development. Why not make abortion accessible to reduce the reduction of liabilities? As I'm sure my opponents will rush to. It's simply rush to take up our already embarrassing economy. Pregnancy by rape, abuse or trickery. Who wants to bring a child into this world and deal with the stigmatization of an already depressing situation? Pregnancy piercing holes in a condom. The woman had the option to have a child. Let her terminate the pregnancy. Mental and psychological issues as a result of being raped or abused. So, under pressure. A question to you, ma'am. Isn't it enough on top of all this to bring a child into this world? I think not. Some women have medical conditions and can affect the unborn child. If you know beforehand that your child will be disabled and life will be difficult, would you still choose to bring that child into this world? Why would you claim to love that child, but for your own selfish reasons bring that child into this world? In my conclusion, a woman's body has nothing to do with churches,
organizations, government, and she's allowed to do whatever pleases her mind. A woman shouldn't be demonized, ridiculed, and shamed for having an abortion. At the end of the day, choices, not you. Thank you.
Vice Principal, respected lecturers, honorable judges, and my worthy opponent, and dear audience, I would like to speak against the motion abortion should be legalized in Jamaica. Abortion is a very painful topic for men and women who find themselves facing the moral dilemma of whether or not to terminate a pregnancy. It's one of the most polarizing moral issues. Most people are on one side or the other, very few undecided. The killing of an innocent human being is wrong, even if that human being is yet to be born. Unborn babies are considered human beings by the Jamaican government. The human embryo, who is a human being, begins fertilization at implantation, which is about 5 to 7 days, or 14 days, which is 2 weeks. Anybody intentionally killing or attempting to kill an unborn child should be punished for intentionally or attempting to kill a human being. In order to maintain our morality as human beings, as Jamaicans, it is imperative to agree that abortion should be illegal. We must that will protect the humans in our society who have the right to life but does not possess the ability to protect. A society as crime-ridden as ours and our daily fight with trying to manage and lower our murder rate, it would be a slap in the face of the law enforcers and defeat us to legalize murder in Jamaica. Factor I'd like to present as an argument against legalization is the psychological and physical damage it causes for women afterwards. A peer-reviewed study published by the World Health Organization found that, and I quote, young adult women who underwent abortion may be at increased risk for subsequent depression. From that same study, it is documented that women who underwent an abortion had, and I quote, significantly higher anxiety scores up to 5 years after the pregnancy termination. The WHO also published that women who aborted were 150% more likely to commit suicide than carried to term. In Jamaica, more than 22,000 abortions occurred the year 2011, and the complications ranked as the 8th leading cause of maternal mortality in the country. Abortion put women in Jamaica at the risk of many side effects, whether surgical or by pill. These include abdominal pain and cramping, nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. Women are also at risk of significant complications such as heavy bleeding, infection, damage to the cervix, and death. Damage are far too great for us to consider legalizing the act and putting the lives of our women at risk. The third factor that I present is legalization of abortion promotes the culture that human life is disposable. Legalizing abortion sends a message that human life has very little value. It is frightful to even think that there are children, victims of abortion, who will never see the light of day. When we tell one another that abortion is okay or should be a contraceptive method, we reinforce the idea that human lives are disposable, that we can throw away anything or anyone who inconveniences us. The day our society drops its guard and loses our moral allows such an inhumane act to become the norm or be legally accepted will be a dark day in Jamaica. Our country is already crippled by the rate at which our full-grown adults are being murdered. Legalizing the murders of whoever their presence puts at an inconvenience must not become a state where human life is destroyed at any level. of say no to abortion.
A minute now for each person to prepare their rebuttal. Danica Rumble would like to use her nugget. She's requesting Brianna Thompson. Jabari is also requesting to use his nugget, and he's using
Shelly.
Shelly, I don't know Shelly. Alright, the minute is up. So invite Rumble to come and give her a rebuttal.
My opponent expressed that killing of an unborn child is murder and they should be charged. But my question to you, my opponent, is rape an equal crime? Surveys have shown that women who has rebounded and come back to life and have shown that 70% of these women come back and are successful women of society today. Abortion is not the end of the world. Thank you.
My worthy opponent stated that her body her choice. I do agree, her body her choice. However, that choice is hers before conception. The choice to engage in coitus was hers. The choice to have intercourse without using of contraceptive method was hers. the moment she's responsible for caring or nurturing for another human being, it is no longer hers. The fetus has a right to life. We can't allow murderers to be accepted and legalized due to the adults being irresponsible. The conception of that child was sorry. Conception. The conception of that child was not solely down to her. It cannot be her body, her choice. Pregnancy occurs with the intercourse of a man and woman. Minority occurs with reproductive techniques such as injection of sperms, etc. It would be unreasonable to demand that the male keep silent, especially with the opportunity of his offspring being terminated. I was asked, what more should a woman go through? The psychological and the physical damages that come after abortion. As I close, imagine how a father may feel knowing that his offspring may be terminated.
Things are getting a little bit spicy. Now invite, all right. We will now invite to the stage Carol Harman of 3B EPN versus the non-Macintosh of 2B. The motive, mothers who commit maternity fraud should be criminally charged.
Mic check. Esteemed judges, where are the opponents? Be it resolved, mothers who commit maternity fraud should be criminally charged. Merriam-Webster's dictionary defines fraud as an intentionally deceptive action that is designed to provide a perpetrator with an unlawful gain or denying a right to a victim. Which is why I am in agreement that any form of fraudulent act, such as paternity fraud, be criminally investigated and charged. With that said, let me now clarify what is paternity fraud. The primary understanding of paternity fraud is when a mother deliberately misidentifies the biological father of a child. A 2016 study conducted by Dr. Herbert Gale, a leading anthropologist at the UWI, revealed that 25% of Jamaican men are unknowingly raising children that are not biologically theirs, or as Jamaicans call it, raising a jockey. Now, the United Nations Population Division recorded in March of 2022 Jamaica's population to be approximately 2.98 million people. This is simply saying that about 3 in every 5 Jamaican men are unknowingly fathering children that are not of their DNA. My audience, you and I, could possibly be a jockey. Reasons why the Jamaican government
in 2021 grappled for solutions to address this issue. Can you imagine the pain of a crying father wanting to help or donate blood to a child in a medical emergency and discovering he is able to do so because the DNA test revealed he is not the biological of the child? When a child is considered daddy's boy or daddy's girl, it means a great amount of bonding has been cemented in their relationship. And to discover at whatever age for any child on them, possibly causing a child to hate their mother. On the father's side, it is even more overbearing, as he would have allowed his own. It can be argued that because of this promiscuous by a mother has robbed a child of their rights, as Article 9 would speak in the Child Care and Protections Act states that a child should know or live with unless this might harm that child. This mother has not robbed the child, but the father in the process. This act is just as committing a crime. Secondly, I wish to lament on the significant factor paternity fraud as and domestic violence, which has been reaping havoc in our Jamaican homes for some time now, with women being the primary victim oftentimes. In Jamaica, there is a culture where a male is laughed at if he is known to be taking care of a child unknowingly not his. My opponent may argue that this can be avoided by some simple solutions, such as paternity tests at birth and just having both parties go their separate ways. Yes, I would agree that the solution sounds pretty easy. However, Dr. Gale revealed that the paternity fraud is the second most popular reason for murder-suicide in Jamaica. Further adding that men take the embarrassment and decide very seriously. There is an inadequate amount of information to say that the use of force can be saved. My audience, paternity fraud can cause murder-suicide, and we only have about a dozen of them per year. Why would we wish to trigger a case for more murder-suicides? I thank you.
One good day to the excellence, my honorable judges, my respected teachers, and my fellow colleagues. Today, I put the children of Jamaica at the forefront of. Children are our future. It's a phrase we often hear, but how often is it used with the full understanding of the implication? Children are our future means the children are our priority, and as such, any decision that we make may cause any harm to their development should be thought of comprehensively. I am here today to challenge the notion that mothers who commit paternity fraud should be criminally charged. However, I respect these claims. First, we must take into consideration the impacts that this may cause on the child. Not only that, but also the impacts on the parents. Before I continue, I would like to ask my opponent this question. Criminally charged would solve the situation or make it worse. Let's see. Based on an article published by Kimberly Orr, Annie Martin, and Jane Brooks, outline studies that draws theories of attachment and family instability. The study examines associations between early mother-child separation and subsequent maternal parenting behaviors. 1,800 families who participated in this was the occurrence of a mother and child separation a week longer within the first 2 years of life was related to high levels of stress, child negativity at age 3, and aggression at age 3 to 5. The effect of this separation on child aggression was a major factor found in this research. attachment theory. A secure attachment is derived from the child's appraisal of his or her mother's availability. Availability implies that the mother's physical accessibility to the child, referred to as lack of accessibility, as either separation loss, depending on whether it is temporary or permanent in nature. How is this related to this mood, you may ask? Well, removing the mother from the child's life will cause various impacts. It may cause emotional damage and lead to aggression of that child. This may lead to the child being placed in a foster home due to the fact that the parent who is fostering the child doesn't want to be apart anymore. According to legal line, CA, being criminally charged generally includes fines, suspensions, probation, and small amounts of jail time. If the criminal charges are considered more serious, like a felony, then there is more lengthy process determining the punishment. If the mother is being given jail time or being prosecuted, means that the child will be left with the father who has no biological connection to the child. This may cause the child to be treated unfairly, and the mother's unavailability will prevent the emotional needs of the child to be unattended to. A mother's comfort will always be more than what a mother's comfort will always be more than a child, which a father provides, and will always be yearned by the child. The mother is on suspension or probation simply means that they are not able to provide for the child's physical or emotionally. Therefore, the child will not be able to get necessary resources that he or she needs on a daily basis. I think the government of Jamaica should put in place strategies to change the healthcare system. Based on the Jamaica healthcare system, I'm not saying that the mother should not be held responsible, but please take a moment to think about how the child would feel. I think my opponent should too. Let's not think about this as just a speech, but the reality. I thank you.
Each participant will now go through their 1 minute to prepare their rebuttal. All right, Karen Saman will be using his as a requested use of his voice. Alright, the time is up. We'll now invite Karen to come and present his rebuttal.
So my opponent asks a few questions, which I will answer. The question was asked, what benefit does it have when a mother charged with paternity fraud gets locked away? What benefit does it have on the child, right? So the men will go of finding out
that a child he grew to love turned out to not be his child? What happened down the road when the child finds out that his father that he also grew to love was not him? They are the ones who battle the emotional trauma. Countless of times we see how emotional damage affect children when situation arises when they are supposed to get fired and travel overseas and learning that a father they thought was theirs was not their father. I will ask a few questions. How would you feel to find out the man father was not your father? What would change for you? What would affect your schooling? Could you cope mentally with the changes? How about the memories that was built over? I am holding strong that women be criminally charged for committing paternity fraud. Do you think lying to a child, lying to a father and a child solves the problem? You ask a question of what happens when a mother is in custody. The mother should have think of these consequences before she lied to a father about his child. Consider the same impacts on the father if he leaves a good home upon this of his. One child I heard about, she went from being an A student straight to almost a dropout in high school. Her father was fighting for her and was not the father. She got very unruly, her behavior changed, started sculling school. She got very promiscuous. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the actions that come from when a mother commits paternity fraud. I thank you.
My opponent outlined these statements. Jamaican government grappling for solutions. If the government relies on a negative solutions to combat every problem in the country, there will never be a change. We can find better solutions. Question, Mr. Speaker. Do you want to make a change or make the problem worse? Create a on the child. Emotional damage. There is a double emotional damage when the mother is charged, and also when the child has to go through losing. I thank you.
Give them a bigger round of applause than that. Thank you. We now invite the final in round of number 4. Case of number 5, sorry. Christopher Gibana in the affirmative and Giovanni Parkins of 3C BM in all Jamaican citizens 18 years and over should be allowed to bear firearms. Just give us a minute while they prepare themselves.
Good evening, audience. Alright, so I will jump right into it. Now, as it is, a person in the United States that is 18 years and over is legally able to bear a firearm. Now, according to statistical findings, even though the United States population is greater in number than Jamaica, murder rate is increasingly different. And on the other hand, the research was based on homicide rates, right? In various countries, the statistics have shown that compared to USA, Jamaica has 60% rate, while the United States has 5% rate. Another tally which showed the Jamaica ranked third, while it ranked 43. Now, with this being said, it is prevalent. Why should we? Having a firearm enables a person to educate on how and when to use it. Jamaica has violence rates still without all Jamaican citizens 18 years or older a right to handle a firearm. Why not allow them a chance instead of allowing them to seek and have access to the firearm illegally? Now, safety first. Now, Jamaica is a place to live, work, raise families, and to do business. Now, it's where we envision to reach in Vision 2030. Now, and if we don't have any citizens, our violence land Jamaica, right, with a high rate of gun violence, of course, the surge is high day in, day out. No, is it safe to say that it is safe to say that some contributing factors towards the increased crime rate: 1, dancehall music; 2, lateral scamming, which is equivocal to illegal guns; and 3, of course, our gun culture. Now, a popular song by Sting Down, intellectual murder people edition, fire gun, like, you get me? So boom. Now, with the FLA structure of having a 5-year attempt to pretty much revamp your firearm license, that will pretty much assist us mitigating some changes as it relates to who and who does not have illegal record and firearm. Now, at the voice of the Governor General, we explain there is nothing wrong with Jamaica that cannot be fixed by what is right with Jamaica. I must be able to protect ourselves too. Have you ever lost a loved one by the ruthless callousness of the arms of one who held a gun? Have you ever personally experienced what it feels like to be shot at in the cold dark evening of the night after strolling home from an evening of school? No, well, yes, I have been that young man. Yes, I was almost next to be another statistics to gun violence. Now, my opponent
stricter laws to save our young men like myself from gun violence is pretty much absolutely crucial. And as it is, gun laws in Jamaica began to tighten in the early 1970s when Jamaica itself experienced rising violence with associated criminal gangs through political polarization. So that point altogether.
A splendiferous afternoon to all. A splendiferous afternoon to all. It is clear as day that there is a deadly rampage scourging across the earth and depth of Jamaica that weighs in as a grim reminder of just how prevalent the guns are. Should Jamaican citizens 18 years and over be allowed to bear firearms? Certainly not. This would wreak further chaos. Should not be allowed to bear firearms. A firearm is a weapon from which a shot is discharged by gunpowder. Now, I am firearms, as it can be extremely helpful for law enforcement officers to use to fight crime, more significantly, to protect all law-abiding citizens. Also, responsible business people can legally obtain one to protect themselves from unknown and threats. But if they were to be in the hands of every citizen, the country would when someone's mental health is down. My opponent may postulate that citizens 18 years and over are so that they could ward off criminals and help reduce the crime rate. Of evidence that is preposterous and the mental health of citizens, especially the aftermath of the pandemic and the regulation of carrying out such a regulation and arming all citizens 18 years and over. The data shows that this will place a great burden on the government with the high cost of screening for additionally, socio-economic conditions will contribute to crime. My listeners, putting large numbers of guns in that mix is a recipe for disaster. So I must reiterate, all Jamaican citizens 18 years and over should not be allowed to bear firearms. It goes without saying that the idea of arming purpose, that is criminal negligence. My opponent, pardon my ignorance, but are you it describes unjustified act without reasonable caution and putting others to death. Guns don't always end the life on the other side of the road. Sometimes the trigger is pointing right back at you. Suicide rate as well. My naive opponent, I know you think that arming all citizens 18 years and over with firearms will provide better security and simply do more good than harm. I hasten to tell you that's a facade. A Chinese business couple in St. Elizabeth were recently robbed, shot and killed quite brutally in their place of business by armed masked men. The couple was said to have had a licensed firearm, but was only used as a donation to the and equip themselves to continue carrying out these heinous acts. It was that the government can probably streamline a vetting process and craft and handpick those who are to be issued firearms. tell this, and we all know this. As long as there is money, corruption is close by. Just last month, the licensing agency of firearms was under investigation for corruption. The current president alluded to the public that the same organization contributed to more guns being in arms of men that don't meet the standard. The same standard of which you speak. Of gun seizures and many those guns are being smuggled into the country to make people feel safe or to reduce theft. No, they are doing Indians and kill. Indian peace about arming army. Look at it this way. Do all Jamaican citizens have the heart to speak? Or workshop or sensitization as to what we call civil and responsible citizens. Let us allow the law enforcement officers, more so the government, to up their game and protect the country. So, I will end with this reference. Stop going like in the new office.
The time is up. We now invite Christopher to come with his rebuttal.
My opponent, to one firearm, one will be educated on how to use it to protect themselves and as well as others. It is not just putting large guns, but reducing the ignorance with using firearms. No, illegal guns, I would agree, have caused a disaster. But let's be practical. A man without knowledge is like a fool. Hence, why the citizens will be screened and trained how to eliminate the eruption of violence. For my worthy opponent, there is a difference with using illegal guns versus getting knowledge just like a force would do. There are policies to use these said firearms, and as you would have expressed some points as well towards the corrupted system, of course, I can
agree to the fact that yes, gun violence and gang violence started back in the 1975 by our said political parties, both JLP and PNP. I thank you.
As my opposition redundantly spoke of six matters into their own hands. System which has been created from 1681 to fulfill its purpose and not assume the position on our own. As you speak of citizens being educated about the guns, let me ask you, if the men with those legal guns don't know against them? If licensing and screening for eligibility as persons with mental health and all the international studies show that arming the public a higher incidence of gun crimes. So and grappling with misinformation, arrest and to be a
or based on or this. You want one more? Yes. All right, so next week.
And them first before you call me. Yes.
So next week, around the same time, we have a more debate, so you can invite your friends, invite your classmates, and come on tree. Let's give a round of applause again for all the participants. We want to say a special thanks and supported their schoolmates and for being such a cheerful audience. We welcome you to come back again next week with the same rosiness and appreciation for what is taking place here today. I now invite Ms. Dobson to come. Just give her 1 minute.
I want to do it in the order that we started. So 1,
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, students. Good afternoon, members of staff. Just want to thank everyone for your presence this afternoon. Thank you for being a wonderful and supportive audience. We really could not do this without you. We appreciate the energy and the vibes that you have brought to this occasion. This is the moment you have all, and we have all been waiting for. Before we announce the winners for this afternoon session, I just want to make it known that as per rule of this competition, not only the winners, it is not only the winners who will move forward. The decision in those who will move forward in this competition overall is dependent on quality of debate. So what that means is that there are some persons, some of the contenders who did not win this afternoon will also move forward with the winners. Is that clear? Because we had some excellent debaters, superb debaters this afternoon, and some of those persons who did not win will definitely be moving forward. The reveal, however, of those who will be moving forward will be done tomorrow, but today we will announce the winners. In the first face-off, all public sector workers should be contracted contenders Zane Watson of 1A, Adrian Knight of 2A. Based on the decision of us judges, the debate has been moved on the side of the opposition, which means that the winner for face-off number 1 is Jabari Lamond. Sorry, Zane Watson. My apologies. The debate has been moved. My apologies. It has to do with how my notes is set up. My apologies. So the debate has been moved on the side of the affirmative, and the winner for face-off 1 is Zane Watson. The winner in the second debate, which we call face-off 4, employers should block access to social media sites. Contenders Colleen Young of Sports Massage and Fitness, Alexia Smith of 3C. The debate has been moved on the side of the affirmative, which means the winner of this section is Colleen Young. In the debate, which we call number 5, abortion should be legalized in Jamaica. Contenders, Danica Rumble of 4B, Javari Lamond of 1B, the debate has been moved on the side of the opposition, which means that the next debate, which we call face-off 6, against Janoan McIntosh. Judges have decided the debate has been moved on the side of the affirmative. The winner for the session, Carol Palmer. And in our final debate of the afternoon, Christopher Gibbons against Giovanni Parkins. The judge's decision, the debate has been moved on the side of the opposition, which means that Giovanni Parkins is the winner of this session. So we noticed that most of the contestants, most of the contenders rather, had their friends videotape parts of their speech. We're asking that you send the clips to us. We will be collating production for this the great debate session. So we really appreciate if you let us have the clips that you have done. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful afternoon. And the reveal for this debate, the reveal for today's session will be done tomorrow afternoon. So you will hear more from us, and also please check the group app. Well tried to all of the persons who did not win. We had some very close ones. We must commend Mr. Gibbon, who came in just in the last minute because there was an turn up to take our back. Thank you. Again, congratulations to all winners.